What's up, guys? Cody here with Second Wind Sales and Services, and today we're doing a little bit of a Xbox One controller repair. This one has come in with some stick drift, and we want to get it fixed up and back into some gaming action. So essentially, this is one of the most common repairs that we see with both PlayStation and Xbox controllers, is the sticks tend to give out. So basically, these thumbsticks are sitting on these little potentiometers, and they're just held in together. I don't know how well you can see it, with some plastic, and the plastic eventually wears out, and then the stick will start to wander off its axis a little bit. So it's not a hard repair. It's probably one of the most common ones we see, though, and it's a wonder why these game companies like Sony, Xbox, Microsoft, calling you guys out, don't put better potentiometers in your controllers when you ship them at like $150, or what these ones I think were. This is an older Xbox controller, but I still think they were about $80 when they came out. Why they don't put a $2 part in instead of a 10-cent part in? Now, mind you, I am putting 10-cent parts back in. That's what I have on hand right now, but there are options for better potentiometers. So this repair only needs to be done once and never again. So before we get into the repair, I'm going to hook this up to the computer, and I'm going to show you guys how I go about testing these controllers, just to see where the drift's at, to get a baseline, and then we'll test it again after the repair and see if it improved any. But we'll see at the test bench. All right, guys, so what we're at here is gpadtester.com, and this is a free service that anyone can use. So I encourage you just to hook up your controller, PS5, Xbox, to your computer, plug it in, and then bring up this website. Once your drivers are installed on Windows, then you can launch it. So we'll just push one of the buttons here. All right, so what we're looking at is these two sticks on the bottom, and we can see that the specs are a little bit off. When these are sitting, and I'm not touching the controller right now, any of the buttons, they should sit very, very close to 0 and 0. Left X, left Y should both be at 0. But you can see that they're off a little, and you can watch as I rotate the controller, or rotate the stick. The path isn't too bad on this one, but when I let go, it still sits a little bit off from 0. And then we'll try the left one here. See, the path on this one is not bad either. That's pretty normal to do that square pattern. And then I let go. Yeah, that one jumps a little bit. And you can see on the screen here that this has gone gray. That means that the button is being depressed, and I'm not touching it manually. So the left one is a little bit more worrisome than the right one. And that's not unusual to have one go before the other, but we're gonna pop this thing open and replace them both. So the next step is I'm gonna start taking this controller apart, and then once we get down to where we need to be, we'll bring it back and have a look at the repair. All right, so this repair took me all in all about half an hour, but we're gonna speed it up here just so we can get through all the fun stuff and just put it in a compact little video, because the repair is pretty boring, actually. But the first thing we're gonna do is crack these handles off, and I used a couple different spudgers to get them off. It's a little tricky. They're just held in by plastic clips. Actually, on this side here, I broke the plastic clip, but it's okay. It happens. Don't worry about it. Take the screws out. There's 5 of them, if I remember correctly. There you have it. There's your naked Xbox controller. Take those thumb caps off. you'll see me wrap tape around these vibration motors, just so they don't fall out while we're working on things. And this is the board that we have to get. It's hard to see because it's going so fast, but there's two boards. There's the main board that's behind the little X button. The one I'm desoldering now, taking those wires off, is the daughter board, and that's the one that we need to work on. You can see there's like a happy face shape of solder. Those are the ones that are holding in the potentiometers. So those are the ones that we're going to have to take out. But once we get the daughter board out, got lots of room to work now. There's a potentiometer that we're going to be putting in. There's two of them, and they both have those little happy face solder marks around it. So right now I'm just using the heat gun to heat up the board. And then you see me add a little flux and then get to work taking these things off. And they're a little bit tricky to get off because there's a lot of contact points that are soldered in. I use a lead-free solder from the factory that's pretty durable. So it takes a minute to get these things off. So first I'm just working each point with the solder wick and my soldering iron. I have to go around a couple times just to make sure everything's cleaned out. And there's a little bit more, I guess, that we're doing. And then finally I got wise and put it on the helping hands and grabbed the solder sucker, which saved me so much time. Should have just did that to begin with, but you know, I got one out. And afterwards, just clean up all the leftover solder that's left behind. So we have a nice flat surface and spray it with a little isopropyl just to clean up the flux that was left behind. Put a new one in. And I taped it there just to hold it while I was soldering. Just a little bit of electrical tape, just to keep it tight against the board. Was that totally necessary? Probably not, but it did help a little. Because it was upside down. But I'm mostly holding it with my finger anyway. And then once you get a couple of those points soldered in, it holds itself in and goes pretty quick. So once we get the first one in, get to work on the second one. And you can see all the hair on my sweater arm. That's from our shot dog, Jasper. He's part husky, part German Shepherd, and sheds a ton a couple times a year. So I've just learned to embrace it. Embrace the dog hair. Love the dogs. So anyway, here's the second one. This one goes a lot quicker because I was wise this time. Brought the solder sucker in. Had to do a little bit of cleanup with the solder wick still though, because like I said, there's a lot of solder in there. And there's a ton of points that we have to take care of. So just working each one, making sure that we get it out. Add a little bit of heat after. And it finally drops free. And after it's free, just spend a little time cleaning up the holes. And then we get to cleaning. Lots of isopropyl alcohol. And just making sure all the old flux is removed. But we're going to add more anyway. Just want to make sure it's clean underneath where the potentiometer is going to go. So there's none kind of hanging out once we get everything put back together. Again, just solder, patience, and looks pretty good. Again, lots of cleaning. Just make sure all of the leftover flux is cleaned up. I'm not afraid to use some flux, but you got to make sure it's cleaned up. I did take that heat tape off. Now we're spraying it down with a little bit of contact cleaner, just to make sure everything is nice and clean before we put it back together. And mostly just use some isopropyl and airbrush and a soft bristle toothbrush just to clean everything up. These things always trip me up. The directional pads on an Xbox One controller, I don't know why, but I always have to think about it. I'm like, what? How did I get this out? And then eventually it goes back in. Here we're putting that daughter board back on. Make sure you put the wires in the right places. They go pretty close together, so just make sure everything's all together. Then we put the little antenna back on. Give everything else another little brush. Get it all clean. And put some new heat tape on there. Don't know if it's totally necessary to keep it on, but it was there when we took it apart from the factory, so we will keep it there when we put it back together. You can see my hair in the top of the camera there. Almost in need of a haircut. I like to keep it short. Unlike my dogs. But yeah, once we get one of those wires, I remember just giving me a little bit of trouble. It just wouldn't stay in place while I was trying to solder it down, but eventually everything goes back into place. And we get them soldered back in. These wires, I don't think you have to take them off when you're doing this repair. I always do though. I just like having the extra space and being able to pull it away from the other board. And again, while we have it open, just going with a deep clean. There's gunk and stuff just from everyday use. All dead skin cells, stuff kind of pile up in the cracks. Put the battery terminals back in. Give everything a good clean. This controller is actually in pretty good shape. So there wasn't much to do, but mostly what I'm using is just isopropyl. Take the tape off the vibration motors now. And there's the bottom. For the top, same idea. We're just going to clean it. I'm actually using a magic eraser there. I find with outside of controllers and outside of consoles and stuff, that magic eraser is really good for getting off scuffs and scratches and stuff. It's a little bit abrasive, so it cleans everything up quite nicely. But again, just soft bristle toothbrush and getting the cracks. And then we got everything put back together and put all the screws back in. So there's 2 on each handle and 1 in the battery compartment. Pretty easy to put back together. It's a lot harder to take it apart, but once we got the handles on, we're all good to go. So that's it. This has been Cody with Second Wind Sales and Services. Have a good day.